she's going to do a wonderful presentation. I was so excited when it was my turn to find a presenter or a topic. Sarah came top of mind, and I'm always watching her social media posts and kind of saving them to think like, oh, I need to get onto this. And I thought, what better way to really get onto it but to have Sarah here and get us all into action mode. So to just do a brief introduction, I know I sent you all of Sarah's bios and intros and all her accolades. We might be here for an hour if I had to go through them all. But Sarah is a qualified teacher, training, tech specialist, and female entrepreneur of the year 2023. Sarah is the founder of the all-in-one CRM and course creation platform Techmatics, is that right?
Correct.
Which is Australia's most awarded all-in-one CRM and business platform. Sarah specializes in helping you commercialize your expertise into courses, coaching programs, and memberships, as well as scale and automate your business using technology. Like, how great is that? So I'm going to hand over to Sarah, but just for you to get an idea of the timing of the morning, Sarah has very graciously given us 90 minutes of her time, and it's a Monday afternoon in Australia with 2 kids, so that's quite an honor. And she will present for roughly 60 minutes, and then following that we'll have half an hour for Q&A, interaction, and see how long you can stay on the call, but we will finish promptly at 10 a.m. South African time. So Sarah, I'm going to spotlight you and hand over to you. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to today's session. Thank you all for coming in early in the morning where you are. It is an honor to come here today and teach you guys how to commercialize your expertise, your IP, your knowledge and your experience. You have a wealth of it locked up there in your brains, and I know as professional speakers you guys are well adapted to speaking about what you know on stages. However, I know with working with professional speakers for many years that a lot of the knowledge you have in your head could be further commercialized, i.e. make more money from it and help more people whilst doing that by packaging up your knowledge in other ways. Now, the beautiful thing is you have all the content and information already. Today, I'm going to take you through the 10 major overarching steps that you would go through to package up that information in the form of courses, coaching programs, memberships, consulting, and even how you can take that into done for you services and so much more. What I want you guys to take away today is seeing that there is a whole other bunch of income streams sat there waiting for you to reach more people and of course to make more money whilst we're doing that. I'm Sarah Cordiner, I'm a qualified teacher trainer. I have been teaching people, organisations, governments and even universities how to commercialise the IP within their organisations and as individuals themselves. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments and in the chats as we go through. I will leave 90 minutes, I'll leave 30 minutes at the end of this to answer any questions you have. Also, just to let you guys know, I've got a bunch of slides I'm going to be taking you through today, and you are going to have the opportunity to get a copy of these slides. I will be sending a link through to Nikki, who's going to share the slides with you guys as well. So without further ado, let's go in. I'm going to share my slides with you right here up on the screen. And if there are any issues that pop up with the tech side of things, if one of you can just turn the microphone on and let me know. So we're going to do commercializing our expertise today. Hi, I'm Sarah. You've met me and know me now. And we're going to be talking all about how to create courses. Now, a lot of us as experts get this one particular question a lot of the time. And that particular question is, hey, can I pick your brain over a coffee? Now, while most of us would love to luxuriously and leisurely spend our time going around cafes and eating delicious cakes, unfortunately, that doesn't pay the bills. What does pay the bills is creating a suite of products and services that people at all different price points and at all different stages of learning what you teach can actually buy from you and be helped by you. I'm going to be talking about that in our first major step today. There's a little screenshot here of my inbox. When you start selling your courses in digital formats, your training, your coaching, your memberships in a digital format, People are buying online and you get these very sexy notifications in your inbox saying you have made some money. Hands up who would like to see an inbox that looks like this, a whole inbox full of ding, you received a payment, ding, you've received a payment. Yes, lots of thumbs up happening. And this is really the smallest, but one of the most amazing rewards, but the smallest one. Every time you get a ding, somebody has purchased something from you. Of course, you now can continue your endeavors of impacting the world, but also it's going to keep your business running. It is really, really important as a business owner that you are commercializing all of the time. And a lot of people say to me, oh no, is this all going to be about money, make money? Being commercially focused in your business is absolutely not shallow, it's not narrow, it's a critical part of sustaining your business operation. Money is fuel in your business, and if you run out of it, you cannot continue and you just simply can't help people. So the first stage of creating courses, coaching programs, keynotes, sharing your knowledge and expertise with the world focuses in on making sure that before you even start creating the content for your program, you have first of all put a commercialization model behind it. This means, what kind of courses am I going to create? What depth will they all be at? How much will I be charging for those? What will the experience be like for the end user? How much of my time in real time will I be putting into this particular program? And how does that then form my overall business model? How do each of these new products that I plan to create fit into a customer journey? That is a pathway that your prospects and leads go down, hopefully continuously buying from you step by step by step over a long period of time. And this first step is the biggest part of this presentation. We're going to be spending the largest amount of time on this, because if you don't get this bit right, no matter how good your training and workshops are, if you haven't got this fundamental base of foundations in place to begin with, it's all going to be for nothing. And we don't want that to happen. And luckily for you, you're in Sarah Cordiner's workshop, so you guys are going to be set up for as much success as possible. So what I've got here on the screen is a half blurred out version of my commercialization and visibility blueprint model, and only members of my Legends Lab get this. But I'm going to walk you through exactly what's in these steps so that you understand this commercialization model and what you need to have in your business, regardless of what you're selling. It doesn't matter if it's courses, it doesn't matter if it's memberships, if it's keynotes, if it's consulting, if it's retreats and boot camps, or anything else around the outside. This bit is critical to get leads and to make sales. So let me explain what you have on your screen here, albeit you can't see this very, very clearly, but I will explain what's on the screen. First of all, on the top left-hand side of your screen, you have a green section, and this green section is called content marketing. This is all about getting content, your knowledge, your tips, your information out to the world so that people can discover you. First of all, they can see what you talk about, what your field of expertise is. It's also to continuously make you discoverable on search engines. People go to Google 1 billion times a day to search for answers to their questions. They're going to Google and typing in things like, how do I get, how do I be, how do I have, how do I do, what are the steps for, how do I stop, right? If you don't have content out there on the internet, on social media platforms, on your own website, Google literally cannot present you to the people searching for your answers that you have. So step one of getting noticed and making a profitable business around your IP and around your expertise is going to start with this very top section here, which I call the visibility section. Getting found and discovered, not just today, but always discoverable. And that starts with your content. This can be quite simply tip videos that you're popping out. I recommend you simply list down the top 50 questions, the top 100 questions that people are asking in your field. We're going to come to this later in how to find content for your courses, so I won't go into that too much. But you're simply going to turn on your mobile phone and you're going to answer those questions in the 30 to 90-second version, and you're going to be sharing that across your social media. You're going to be taking the transcripts of those little videos, making them into blog posts, because blog posts are the top things that come up in Google search results still to this day. And you're also going to then be later on repurposing that content into all kinds of other formats so that people can continue to discover you long term. So that's our top part of visibility in our green section. The other section we have in this visibility section is all the other kinds of marketing you can do. Content marketing is just one of them. Other forms of marketing or visibility strategy, I call this, are all of the other ways that people might come across you. I'm doing a free workshop today, right? This is one thing that you can do to get new people to discover you, have a taste of you, see what you're good at, see what you love and are passionate about, and that can lead to lots and lots of business or referrals, recommendations down the line. Other things you might do, I'm just going to throw some random ones out there. It could be things like speaking on stages in person, going to network meetings, sponsoring events, guest posting on other people's blogs, running a podcast of your own, presenting on other people's podcasts, running paid advertising. The list goes on and on. But basically, the top of our commercialization strategy here is beginning to produce content and really 10x the way that we are being found and discovered out there in the big wide world by our target audience. So now we've got that first major step of the commercialization model down pat. The next thing we move down to, is we're moving down our commercialization model here, is we now need to turn those viewers, the people that we are seeing and being presented to and who are finding us through those different means, into a contact of some kind. You guys have probably heard of lead magnets, right? That's one way that we turn viewers, the public, into a contact in our system. We give something away for free, the recording of a workshop, it might be a little e-guide, it could be a template of some kind, whatever it might be, you're popping that out there in a locked-in form so that you can collect people's email addresses. That's one way we turn them into a contact. But it's the call to action, that gets them into our system, puts them as a viewer now into becoming part of our business ecosystem, where we can now communicate with them directly within our own business environment, usually through an email list or through a phone number. And we can do text messaging, SMS marketing, and a whole array of other fun, exciting, automated tech ways to engage with our target audience. As we continue moving down our commercialization strategy here, we then go, right now we've got their email address or their contact information of some kind. What happens now? Well, two things. The first thing is we should be having some kind of ongoing relationship building, nurturing conversation. Most traditionally and still very effectively today, this could be email marketing. So as soon as you join my list, you might then receive from me a bunch of tips that go out via email over a frequency that I've set. So I'd recommend for you guys, if you are really, really serious about taking this growth strategy to the next level, you're going to pick the top 10, 20, 30, 50 questions that people ask in your field or that people need to know in your area of expertise, and simply write out 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 little email tips that are really helpful, really practical in do this, try this, here's a strategy for you to have a go at. And that's going to start showing people over time how much you know about your field, that you care, and that you're a helpful person. We're moving away from the sales strategy. We're going to the help strategy. We are educators after all. And then at the bottom of that email, this is the important part, at the bottom of all of your emails should be something along the lines of PS first name. Here are all of the ways that I can help you, ... So in my case, when you receive emails from me, you'll get a helpful tip, and then it will say PS first name. Here are 3 ways that I can help you commercialize your knowledge and create courses and membership programs. And then it will list things like link to your booking calendar, so I can book a call with you. It may be a link to your coaching program, or a link to your membership, or a link to your book. Whatever it is, all of the different ways that I can pay you to get your advice, your guidance, your expertise, and your knowledge. If you are not consistently showing people how you can help them, they're not going to know. People don't go out and look for what they can buy from us. You need to constantly present that to them. And so using this conversion stage by sending out regular emails with the PS, here's all the ways I can help you at the bottom, by making sure that right back at the top, all of that content we're putting out to the world also has those calls to action. PS, if you like this tip, come and join my membership where you'll learn even more about it. PS, I've got a free workshop on this, click here if you want to learn more. This is going to start pulling people down into the sales stage, which is the stage at the very bottom of our commercialization model. At the very bottom, and we're going to go through this in the next slide, are all of the different things that you might sell, all of the different ways that you have packaged up that knowledge and expertise that you have, and all of the different ways that you can help me, that you can fast track me to the results that I want to get. So bearing in mind now, with that major overarching commercialization model in mind, you now have a foundational system underneath what will now underpin everything that you create from this point onwards. Are we all good so far? Get this model right, and you cannot fail in making a business work, especially in the online world today. So now let's continue talking about the market. The next stage in this number one stage of making sure you make money from this is to now understand that the world is a triangle, not a circle. Stick with me. In Sarah's world and in all entrepreneurs' worlds, I want you to see the world as this triangular shape to help you understand that to make the most amount of money possible and to impact and change the lives of as many people as possible, that the world is divided up into three distinct segments, three distinct market segments. You have, and I'm not being in any way judgmental with this, this is an illustrative model to present a point of the way that the world is divided up in its most generic form. The majority of the world, this big section at the bottom of a triangle, that's the fattest section at the bottom there, is the majority of the world. You all will have heard of Pareto's principle, right? 80% of the world's wealth is held by 20% of the population, which means that 80% of the population have less disposable income. So the bottom end of our market in the world is a triangle model is the segment of the market that has the most people in it, the highest volume of potential customers, but who have the lowest disposable income and therefore the less amount of money that they can physically put together to pay you for your services, your courses, your coaching, your memberships, and so on. So we need to be thinking, do we want to help those people? There's no right or wrong to this. This is really important to understand at this stage. There's no right or wrong. But how many of you in the chat, if you can give me a thumbs up or a yes, how many of you have a goal to help as many people as possible? How many of you aspire to change and touch as many lives as you possibly can? Just give me a yes, thumbs up, love hearts. Cool, we've got all the love hearts going on. Absolutely. You know, this is one of the biggest things that a lot of us as business owners, as speakers, as educators are here for. We want to touch as many lives as we can. We want to leave a legacy and leave a print. So if that's you, if that is one of your personal goals, then you must have low-priced products. You must have a version of your knowledge, of your teachings, of your trainings in some form of low-priced package so that you can actually enter that largest section of the market. And do not underestimate low-ticket products. I have a lot of people say to me, you know, am I dumbing down my information? Am I going to, cannibalize my business by sharing what I teach at a low price volume? No, you're simply creating a different version of your offerings. And we are going to go into that more in a moment. Now, at the very top of our triangle, we have the smallest end of the population of the world, which are the people who have high disposable incomes. These are the people who are going to want to have really, really exciting experiences, the VIP, the exclusive experience. They are going to want to have their hands held and really, really have that total top-notch world-class experience with you, which of course means paying an extremely high price for whatever the outcome or what that experience is going to be like. There are always, no matter what happens in the world, going to be some people who have high disposable income and people who have lower disposable income. Now, of course, you've then got your section in the middle. So now we're thinking, which end of the market do I want? Up at the top end, you're going to be charging higher prices, but you're going to have a smaller percentage of people to sell that to, based purely on economic positioning. But you also then have a number of different ways that you can package up your products, your services, and the experiences that you're giving people so that you can touch all segments of the market. So how exciting is this? We don't have to restrict what we do and what we teach to small groups of people. We can, in fact, repackage to touch every single end of that market. So what would your high-end experience be? What would your lower price product be? And what's your package in the middle? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's exactly what our next slide is all about. So what I want to share with you now are a number of different ways that you can package up your knowledge. Those of you who can see my screen can see that there is some blocks here, and this goes from left to right of the cheapest, lowest end products that you might put together, all the way up to the highest kinds of products that you might put together. So let me explain. By the way, this is not an exhaustive list by any means. The creativity is endless, but here are the most common ones. Now, at the very beginning of your customer journey, there's a word I mentioned right at the beginning. Your customer journey, the journey that people go on when they're buying from you. At the very beginning of that commercialization model is all of your free stuff. It's all of the things that you are putting out there online, YouTube, social media channels, blogs, free workshops that enable people to learn from you when they have no budget at all, or when they just don't trust you enough yet to hand over their hard-earned cash. And that is becoming a bigger and bigger group of people, right? So this here is where you would be thinking about when those people say to you, can I pick your brain over a coffee, but I don't have any budget yet? You're going to say something like, I would absolutely love to help you with that. It's my absolute passion. Unfortunately, I'm pretty busy. However, here's loads of my free stuff that's going to get you started, that's going to help give you some direction. Boom, already you're helping people with your free content that you're putting out there. As we move along the customer journey, we're going to have our lower price products. This can be things like self-study online courses, mini challenges. Maybe you could do a 5-day challenge in something that you teach. Maybe you have workshop recordings, micro learning. Today, the highest trending content and the most opted in content is micro workshops. This is when you're delivering something like a 60 to 90 minute workshop that really laser focuses in on helping people achieve a particular outcome. Classic example today, I'm coming in and giving a 60-minute condensed version of the major steps to create a course. Now, do you think this is all encompassing of creating a course? Of course it's not, right? Each of these 10 stages then obviously have lots and lots of micro steps underneath each of one of those. So, that's 10 whole entire workshops I could deliver on each of these single stages on its own. These micro trainings allow you to basically pick apart what might be a massive 10-step program, for instance, that you're charging higher for somewhere else, but you can sell as individual components on their own for a lower price, giving people at the bottom end of that market the option to just select the smaller pieces that they want whilst not devaluing your content. Let me just explain that with a little bit of math for you. Let's pretend my paid course is $100 for the sake of making the math easy, not my strength, right? The whole course on its own, let's say, is $100. But I could also have each of those lessons or workshops as 10 individual lessons that form the whole for $100. But I can also sell those individual workshops as $10 each. That is not devaluing my content because each component is still the same price. But I've made it more accessible as a program by allowing people to pick and mix, pick and choose the elements they want at those lower priced pieces. So obviously the $100 was just a maths example to make that easy to understand. 10 lots of $10 is $100, still the same price for your program, but boom, you've made it accessible like that. That's just one idea, okay? I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just feeding ideas to you right now based on you to choose what might work for you. So they're sort of lower price products and programs. Now, in this lower price product and program area, it's really important that you understand that you are not physically involved in the delivery of these kinds of trainings, because for a low priced offering, you cannot possibly scale or get the return on investment if you're constantly having to exchange your time to deliver these services. What you're thinking about here back then, remember, is low price but high volume. So you're going to be selling these at low prices and making with technology it a completely automated experience and delivery. I.e., I come along to your page, I buy the course or the workshop, it's automatically delivered to me, I can watch it, you've got your money, I get my results without anyone being involved in the process. Right, this is really important because you can't scale low volume at high volume, low price if you're physically involved. Now, as we start moving up the scale of pricing, here's some more options for you to consider. You might start doing workshops. So this could be half-day workshop, couple of hours workshop. You know, as speakers, you might be invited to go and deliver a 1-hour presentation. You might be charging for that. I'm speaking today, I could have charged for this. And this is where you might be thinking, if I was going to deliver a 1-hour workshop, a 3-hour workshop in person or online, I might want to charge for that. And it's only a couple of hours of your time. So this is something that you can put maybe at that lower or mid-range end of the pricing to help those segments of the market have more access to you. Now, as we start moving up the pricing model, we might start thinking about doing things like a 30-day program, a 30-day challenge. Maybe you have what's called an authority flagship course. What's an authority flagship course? Well, in the example we just gave, that might be all of the 10 steps, all of the 10 workshops bundled into one authority program. So you see here now how we're starting to build up and expand upon our lower priced offerings as we go up the pricing scale. You can also start now including coaching as we move up the pricing scale, because now as you become involved in the process, you need to be charging for your time. So when it comes to pricing, which we will also talk about a bit more, we also want to be thinking about what would you normally charge me for an hour with you? So if you were going to write down a price right now on your piece of paper, what is an hour of your time? If I was going to come and have a personal one-on-one consult with you, you need to be calculating how many hours you plan to put into a coaching program. Just to give you an example, just to keep the thoughts feeding, I have a coaching program version of how to create courses. It's called Concept to Course, and it's these 10 steps, but in way more depth with all of the how-tos for each stage lined up. It's delivered over 30 days, 4 weeks. So I've broken it up into 4 modules, and once a week over that 30-day program that only runs at a certain time, I have one group live call per week to help people move through the key learnings of those 4 modules. 4 weeks, 4 modules, 4 live calls. Really simple model for your students and for you. But in calculating the pricing, we're going to be thinking about, well, how much of your time is going to be inputted into that program so that you can calculate what you're going to be charging for it. So you're going to need to be thinking about what was the cheaper version of that, how much more is in it, how much preparation time was there, how much administration time, how much of me delivering time. If you're adding a Facebook group or a community, how many hours per day do you plan to be in there interacting with your students? You then need to take that hourly rate you've written down and multiply that by how many hours you've now calculated are going to be of your time inside that particular program. That's going to now start to give you a bit of a rough idea of what you need to be charging to deliver this program. Then we're going to carry on moving through our model. Another option of packaging up your knowledge and your IP is what's called a membership model or a subscription model. And these are doing really well today, particularly the ones that include some kind of community element and coaching element, i.e. people coming together once a month to learn from you directly as the expert, to have that Q&A time with you, to present their personal circumstances and get your advice and guidance on whatever they're going through at the moment. Now, I've put memberships higher up in the pricing model, but I want you to know a really important point. The subscriptions that are lower priced, i.e. under $200, do get the highest amount of people in them because the price is lower. But I've put it up high in the model because the more people come into that membership, the more monthly recurring revenue you get. And my particular membership, the Legends Lab, it started about 9 years ago or more ago now. That began at $47 a month. And people said, Sarah, you're going to cannibalize your whole business, right? You're putting all your knowledge, all your courses and Q&A calls with you monthly into this for $47. I'm talking back then, this was like $30,000 worth of content going into one place. And everyone thought I was crazy. And I got my first 10 people. I got my first 100 people. Now 100 people at $47 a month was $4,700 a month. That was pretty good for starting out every single month, just coming into my bank account. You get 1,000 people in there, that's 47,000, like that's a lot of money, $47,000, right? So this really builds up in your monthly recurring revenue. Great for your bottom line and can really make your business extremely strong in that income that's coming through, not to mention being able to be very creative and include a whole array of topics in one place. So let's just mention this memberships a little bit more in terms of what this might look like. When I first started mine, and when I work with a lot of people who are building memberships for the first time, simply having you once a month live is enough to start. You can start your membership today by going into Zoom, choosing a day of the month and setting a recurring appointment and simply sharing that with your audience. Because if me joining that once a month live call with you, the expert, is cheaper than that 1 hour charge you've just written down for me to book a one-on-one call with you, it's already an incentive to join your membership, isn't it? You are the commodity in your business. You, the expert, are the person that people want to know, want to ask questions to. You do not need to build up this giant empire from day one to make a membership valuable and extremely meaningful and extremely powerful. You just need to turn up once a month on that group call and guide and advise and answer questions and potentially even prepare a little bit of a teaching based on your theme of the month that you've presented. And as your membership grows, as you carry on down the line and you start getting these questions coming at you, you might start recording little workshops that you drop into the membership bucket. You might remember, oh yes, I have an ebook or an e-guide about that. You drop that in the bucket. Maybe you create a worksheet based on a conversation that happened in the last month's live call. You drop that in the bucket. And what happens over time is this membership's value increases and increases over time. Now, still to this day, I've got thousands of mini trainings and workshops and all kinds of resources in my membership, but I've still chosen to keep my membership at the lower end of my model because I want to go for the higher volume and the biggest impact possible. But that's not to say that memberships can't also be high priced. There are a lot of memberships that I've worked with my clients to create out there, extremely popular, well-known celebrity status people who have put together $5,000, $10,000 a month programs for their clients in their industries, and they have people that pay it, right? So you can price your membership however you wish, but I'm just giving you some suggestions here and letting you know that those ones that are under $200 a month do tend to have the longest customer lifetime value because obviously people think less hard about smaller amounts of cash coming out of their account. So as we move through that final journey there's other things you might think about in terms of packaging up your knowledge as we move up that higher pricing. Do you do conferences, like your own conferences I'm talking about here? I have, for instance, my course creation bootcamp. I have my Legends Lab live conference where people can come and spend 2 to 3 days with me and literally get everything built in their businesses, lead magnets, courses filmed, tech platforms all set up, absolutely everything. What would your equivalent of that be? You then can move into boot camps or retreats. Maybe you are doing done for you or done with you services. If I was going to come to your house for a day, for instance, and sit down at your desk with you, what could you help me have done by the end of the day? Perfect example of how I did this is I help people create courses, and a lot of my customers were saying, your course is amazing, but I really suck at doing self-study things. I am just not going to get stuff done unless somebody is standing over me, whacking me with a hammer. So, Sarah, please, can I come and hang out with you and just get it done? Because I know you're not going to let me leave the room until it's finished. I was like, yes, sirree. So I created a 1-day VIP course creation package where people come to my house for the day. I pull all of their course out of their head in the morning, create an IP framework, map out their whole entire membership plan or their course outline. By the time lunch comes, we then start moving on to throwing you into the film studio. You film your stuff in the afternoon, and then my tech team take over and set up your whole tech plan for you. And then by the time dinner time comes around, I buy you dinner and we sit in my hot tub with a glass of champagne together. That's my one-day VIP package for what I help people do. What would your equivalent of that be? What could you sell me where I could come to your house and hang out and get something awesome completed with you holding my hand, making me accountable and giving me absolutely no escape from getting something done? This is really up there in your high VIP, beautiful, amazing experience that will leave everybody results guaranteed. This is the plan. So with this now in front of you, with all of those ideas, I want you to think about one of them. What would your hero product be? Some of you might be thinking, I'm doing online courses because I hate people. I don't want to do one-on-ones anymore. I hate coaching. I'm sick of doing all of the intimate stuff. I just want to record something and passively send it out there so I make money while I sleep, right? That's fine. That's absolutely a-okay. If that's your absolute desire, that might be your hero product. If, like me, memberships are my hero product because I get to be really creative, I get to put in all different kinds of topics into it, I get to plan this whole amazing journey, we'll become a family, I'm there every month with all of my people helping them get results. If that is your hero product, write that down. Maybe it's the coaching program, maybe it's the retreats. But you need to have in this commercialization framework one hero product that you predominantly send everybody to. Because you can have all of these, but your marketing is going to become a mess if you're not filtering them down to one product that you ideally want everyone to go to first. And then if they don't want that and they don't want that model, then there's all these other options. So as my example, when I'm doing all my marketing out there, when I'm presenting, speaking, whatever, I am always going to talk about my membership and say, in my Legends Lab, we do this. Come and join my Legends Lab, come and check it out. And then people will say, oh, that's not for me. I'm just, I know I'm never going to log in. I know I'm never going to do it, blah, blah, blah. I'll then say to them, well, what would you like? Because I have done for you services where you can come and get it done with me, or I have this, self-study programs, blah, 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 right? This is where you offer all of the other things you have as an alternative. So yes, those of you thinking, I want all of them, you can. You absolutely can. Pick the one that's going to be your hero, build that one first, and then you can start adding on all of these other commercialized, packaged versions of your IP so that you're maximizing your impact, your income, and touching all of those sectors of the market. And that brings us nicely onto the next final stage. Before we start building our course, check this out, look how far we are into this presentation. We're 36 minutes in, and we already are only on stage one. We haven't even started creating our course yet. And a lot of people might be thinking, how are we going to get through all 10 steps? Trust me, we will. But this bit here is so important. Now you want to be thinking, cool, now I know what I want to do. What is going to be my IP framework for delivering this particular topic? What do we mean by this? So on the screen, those of you see the slides here, we've got a bunch of different models. You've got the steps for grief, the steps for overcoming alcohol or addictions. You've got all these stages. It might be a circle. It might be literally 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step. But what you want to now do is kind of break down at a bird's eye level. What are all of the major stages you're going to take me through when I take your program? If I was going to come to you and say, please help me. I know nothing. I'm in the darkest hour of my life in this particular area. Please walk me through to being as much of an expert as you are. What major steps would you take me through? I've broken mine down into 10 steps, right? My course creation steps in this. Now, for each program you run, you might have a different model. I've got my 10 steps for creating a course, but I also have within that, one of the steps is creating a lead magnet. So I've got a 5-step framework for creating a lead magnet, right? So you can build this all out and have different versions. But what you want to do now is literally write down, grab yourself post-it notes, is how I like to do this. What is the major thing you would have to do next to get from 0 to hero in your topic? And this will give you your major stages. And then create yourself in Canva a beautiful IP framework like this. This is then going to form your courses, your coaching programs, your keynotes, and the chapters of your books. Okay, we're moving on. So I'm going to skip past a couple of the slides here which help you further break down what your unique model might look like in your particular topic. The slides for this will be available afterwards. Nick's going to send out a link for you guys so you can go in and read through this. It's very self-explanatory, but there's a couple of tips there for you to help you break down what is it that's my special model so that I'm different to everyone else who teaches the same topic as me. And the final bit on this is please remember that your IP framework, your IP model is never ever finished. So please do not hold off putting your course out there because you think it's not perfect yet, it might change, I've got this thing coming up which might change the model. Fine, let the model change. The model will always change if you are alive and you are continuing to teach your topic. So please put version 1 out there and say, this is my model today. It might change later and that's okay. Please remember that mine changes every single year as I move through the process. So that was step number 1. Now we're going to go through the next few steps in 20 minutes, super fast. So step number 2, now we've got this fundamental commercialization model behind the scenes. We now need to start picking the topics that we are going to be the best at putting together for this program. Please don't pick a topic that you're going to have to do loads of research on that's new to you when you're first putting together your courses and your programs. Remember, as you go, you can keep adding more content to your programs, but you really must make sure that in terms of picking your topic or your combinations of your topics, that it needs to be something that you're good at, that you love, and that you have experience in. Those 3 things put together is your way of telling imposter syndrome to toodle pip and for you to basically qualify yourself to teach your topic. You do not need to be qualified. If you are, I hope you are bragging about it spectacularly to help your sales, but you don't have to be, because what you're doing with courses is you are not saying, this is the be-all and end-all encyclopedia on this particular topic. No. What you are doing is saying, here is my model for achieving this result. Here is my method for doing this thing. Here are the steps that I walk my clients and customers through to get this result. Based on my experiences, based on what I've done, based on the people I've worked with, these are my models and my steps for helping people get to here. This is how you can go out there with differentiation and confidence to be an expert in the thing that you're an expert in, even if you're not credentialed and even if you're up against industry giants, because it's your way, not the way. You're not better or worse than anyone else, you're different. And picking the topic means aligning it to your past, your timeline, your experiences, and the things that you have achieved in your life. Step number 3 for creating a course, coaching program, membership, and commercializing your knowledge is to then ask yourself, well, is anyone going to buy this thing? I mean, like, we all want to make some money from this, right? Now, let me tell you this, absolutely everything sells. Everything and anything can sell, provided that you're using the words that your audience use and that you are presenting it to the right audience. And that most importantly, you are presenting it to the right audience enough of the time, all of the time. I get a lot of people come to me for consults and say, Sarah, I've created a course and it's not making any sales whatsoever. And it is never, in my 10, 15 years of doing this, it's never been about the product they've put together, nor the topic that they've chosen being the reason why it's not sold. It has always been a simple change in the wording, the title, the description, and 90% of the time, they simply are not marketing it enough. In today's world, guys, it takes 22 touch points, being in front of your audience, showing them and telling them about their product before they will even engage with you, let alone before they buy. That's before engagement even happens. And a lot of people are just not doing it enough. I use simple math here, guys, when it comes to selling, right? Selling courses is not going to make you an overnight millionaire and is not the path to instant overnight success. I am not going to glaze any of you with that rubbish. It, like anything else, is only going to sell if you're marketing it enough. I use math. If you know what your conversion rate is, and if you've got a platform like Techmatics, it will show you what your conversion rates are. There's literally a percentage on a dashboard that will show of all the people who opt into your list, this is what % of people buy, right? That conversion rate is so important in telling you how much marketing you need to do. Let's pretend worst case scenario, which is actually pretty average in today, 1% conversion rate. That is people who join your list and then buy something. Ideally, you want to be above the 5% conversion rate, but let's say we're starting at 1. If you want to sell one course, you need to get in front of 100 perfect people and touch them at least 22 times each before they will even consider buying. So you now know how much marketing you've got to do. It's basic maths. But here's a couple of quick simple ways that you can check whether your thing is going to sell. First of all, guys, is Google Trends. Google Trends is free. You go to Google Trends. In fact, I'll do a quick screen share for those of you on the screen here. This is so important because the word you're using is so important, and this for me was where I almost came undone when I first started creating my courses. I called mine curriculum design. Can you imagine how many people were looking for curriculum design? Nobody. So when I went and used this, I realized that people were typing into Google how to create an online course. So guess what I called my first course? How to create an online course. Wasn't sexy, but it got the search results, right? So sometimes we really overcomplicate stuff and we think we have to make things much sexier than they need to be. So you're going to type in, there's a big box that comes up on Google Trends. This is completely free. And you're going to type in your topic, right? So I'm going to just pretend I'm creating a course about essential oils. Let's press explore. And then there's a couple of filters you have to change first before you look at the results. First of all, change the location to worldwide, then change the period of time from 2004 to present. 2004 is when Google started collecting notes about what people were searching for. And it's going to tell you, it's going to give you a line. And this is the line that shows whether your topic is trending right now or not. So you will see if you have a flat line, first of all, a flat line means that you have an evergreen topic. Flat lines are good. Flat lines, evergreen topics are things like leadership, sex, money, relationships, career, all the things that us as human beings will always inherently be interested in. So flat lines are good. Going up lines are great. Obviously, that means it's going up in trend. More people are searching for that term. Going down lines doesn't mean your topic idea sucks and your course won't sell. It means you've used the wrong word. So here's the next feature of Google Trends. You're going to type in all other words that people might use to talk about your topic. So I don't know, I might type in alternative healing. I've got an example of essential oils, alternative healing, and I might put, I don't know, aromatherapy. These are all slightly different words, aromatherapy, and I can't type when I'm talking. But you can put in a whole bunch of variations, and what the graph will show you is which of those words are trending up, which ones are trending down, and which one is the most popular. In the example on my screen, the word essential oils is by far getting higher search results. So we're going to start playing around with all of these different words. But essentially, it's telling you whether or not that topic is trending, and if you need to change the word that you're using. The other thing we want to search for is if people are going to buy this, all we need to do is find out if they're asking questions about it. A course, guys, this bit is so important. All a course is a collection of answers to people's questions. It is not a Hollywood production. If they want to see that, they're going to Netflix. A course is a vehicle that answers people's questions as quickly, succinctly, and delightfully as possible. That's all your course needs to do. As long as you're well lit, have a good microphone, more about that in a second, you can turn on a webcam, pick up your mobile phone, record the answers, and you will have delighted people if the questions were answered. Simple as that. How many of you have heard of answerthepublic.com? Any of you heard of answerthepublic.com? No. We've got some people who've not heard of this. Right, this is life-changing, and we're going to look at this in just a second to help you find content information. Answer the Public is simply a website that's free that curates all of the most commonly asked questions that are being typed into Google right now. Right now. We did not have these resources years ago, so let's just jump in now. Answer the Public. Now, by the way, this is not just how we are going to, in this stage, check if our topic's trending and if it's going to be worth creating a course on this topic, but it's also going to tell us what needs to be in our course as well. So we're going to skip ahead to another step. Let's again say my topic in this example is essential oils. You're going to type your topic in, change the location to the US purely because we have a higher volume, and we're going to hit search. And this is literally going to show us what all of the exact questions are being asked in this field. Our courses, our marketing content just needs to answer these questions. Your marketing content is going to answer them in 30 to 90 seconds. Your course content is going to answer them in much shorter. Now, it will ask you to give them your email address. They're safe. I've been using these guys for years, so it's all good. But you'll get this result come up and it's going to show you every single question. You can also download the questions in an Excel sheet. You get 3 free searches a day. PS, if you change your device, you can, or your Wi-Fi, you can get more searches. You can also change this to list view. I find it a bit easier to read the list view, but here we go. Here's all of the questions. Tables here that people are asking. What are they? Can we use them for this? Are they bad? How do we use them? What do we do with them? When, where, blah, 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 blah. Right? This has written your course for you. It's done your marketing for you. All marketing is, and all sales are being the person who has the answers to people's questions. So I personally download this in a massive Excel sheet. I use the Tasks and Project Manager in Techmatics to create these Kanban boards with all of my Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, all my little lesson ideas, and it helps me organise all of my content. So this takes us on to step 4, which is coming up with the course content. So that method I've just shown you on Answer the Public is one of them. What are the questions people are asking? Now, the other way that you can gather up your course content ideas is to simply ask ChatGPT. Again, another resource that's so awesome that I never had, that you guys now have access to. So I type into ChatGPT questions like, list the 100 most common questions about, and then insert your topic. It's going to give you 100 most commonly asked questions about your topic that you can scan through and decide which ones you're going to answer in your course. How exciting is that? Now, as I've said, at the moment, trending is these kind of really intense micro courses or micro workshops. You may now take each of these questions and create a single 60-minute workshop that answers each of those questions and just build up this giant vault of resources that members can just pay to have access to. Think of every question you answer in the form of a video recorded on Zoom as a machine in a gym, right? Every time you're creating a new recording, it's like adding a new machine to the gym. When you're paying a gym membership, you're simply having access to whatever's in there, right? This is how you start building up this incredible library of everything somebody needs to know about your topic, and you build it slowly over time. Again, please do not think you have to answer all of them in order to open your academy, open your coaching program. Simply start one at a time, and it's going to help you build that up over time and start helping people right away. And so step 5, as I've sort of transitioned into that, is this organizing. It is, how do I present this now? Now, if you've got a coaching program, you might have a number of modules in it. How many modules should you have? Modules, guys, are purely a way of organizing similar themes of topics. A lot of people say, does it have to be 4, 8, 12, 16? No, you're just organizing content. When it comes to curriculum design, modules are purely to gather similar themes. So what I tend to do, especially if I'm sat with someone in person, is we put all of these tips down actually on post-it notes to begin with, on the floor, up on a giant window, and we simply move them all around into little families. So let's pretend I was teaching about nutrition, health and wellness. I might have a whole bunch of little post-it notes that are all about hydration, another little family that are all about food and nutrition, another little family that's about exercise, another little family that's about sleep. Those little families of tips, of questions, simply become your modules. It's as simple as that. And again, curriculum design, you do not need to have exact numbers of lessons in every single module. Sorry, OCD friends. Again, it is simply just a way of organizing and helping the learner understand the sections of content that's there. Some of your modules, if you're going for modular-based production, might have 1 or 2 lessons in it, 1 video, right? Others might have 5 or 10 videos because of the amount of content that you needed to put together in order to deliver what you've promised in the program. So speeding on through because of time here, we also now need to start deciding how we're going to teach this. And this, my friends, means turning on the camera. Now, I'm talking to professional speakers today who mostly don't have a problem with this. However, I do know that a lot of people would prefer to knock their own teeth out without anaesthetic than get on the lens. However, the more you do it, the more your body's physiological and biological responses will slowly realise it's not a life or death situation, and eventually you will be able to put one word in front of the other in some coherent manner. You have to just constantly expose yourself to this situation in order to get that skill. There is absolutely nobody who falls out of the womb being able to present to camera. And I personally hate it when people go, oh, she's a natural. Oh, it's all right for you. You're just a natural at camera. Nobody's a natural, right? This was not programmed into anybody by any Darwinian theory or any God or anything out there, right? Those of us who are good at talking down the barrel of the lens have simply embarrassed ourselves more times than the people who haven't perfected the skill yet, because that is all it is, a mere skill that you can only learn by embarrassing the pants off of yourself in front of that lens. So crack on with it. At least 70% of a course must be taught via video. Whether that's live, doing little live workshops on Zoom, tick, absolutely fine. Make sure you record it and drop it into your membership afterwards. 80+% of people will watch your content in the recording or the replay rather than live. Multiple time zones, lots of things we all need to do with our time. So it's really important you record all of them. So any supplementary content you have, if you're going to now go off into Canva and create workbooks and worksheets, Canva is amazing for this, by the way. In the search bar on Canva, just type in workbook template and you will have a plethora of professionally designed, stunning workbook templates for you to use. No need to hire expensive curriculum developers anymore. That used to be my bread and butter. Canva's put me out of business, but delightfully so, because now I teach people how to use Canva to make the workshops, right? So there's always another way of doing what we do. Please make sure that your supplementary content is just that. It's supplementary. Your resources, your workbooks should not be teaching the content. Your face needs to teach the content. Because imagine this, right? If you paid for a university degree of some kind, and you walked into the lecture room and some guy walked in and dumped a PDF in front of you and walked out and said, have a good one, you'd be pretty disappointed, right? Courses and coaching are about being taught and they need to be facilitated, even if it's pre-recorded videos. Video, teach. The most engaging form of delivery there is, aside from being face-to-face, eyeball to eyeball in the room together. Step number 7 for creating your course, coaching program, or membership is to then create your sales page. Marketing. Luckily for you, those of you who are on this right now and can see my screen, I do have a ChatGPT prompt for you to use. As I said, this set of slides will be available to you afterwards. But your sales page must tell the viewer, the reader, the prospect, what they are going to get from your program. I have seen so many sales pages, people again come to me going, my course isn't selling. And we as experts are so immersed in our topic and in our program, we know what they're going to get. And we have this thing called the curse of knowledge. It's actually a thing. Go read up on it. It's a phenomena that when you know something really deeply and inherently, it's actually impossible for you to remember what it was like to not know your topic. It's a phenomena that's real, the curse of knowledge. So when people come and write their sales pages, they kind of think that the person reading it is going to know what they're going to get. And what most experts end up doing is selling this mystery product. And no one's going to buy a mystery product. It should absolutely clearly say what I'm going to get. Who am I? Am I an entrepreneur? Am I a mother? Am I a suite leader? What am I? And what am I going to get? What are the learning outcomes? What are all the lessons? What do each of the lessons cover? Because what you're teaching, the questions you're answering, is the sales pitch. It is what sells your program. And there is a very, very specific structure to a high converting sales page. And in my Legends Lab, I do actually give away that template that everyone can use and fill in the gaps so that they have at least the basis and covered all the things that should be on a sales page. But that, my friends, is step number 7. Step number 8 is the actual filming and equipment stage. So what do you need to deliver amazing courses? Now, this is my old setup. I have a very different setup today. However, not dramatically different in terms of the actual equipment that you see on this screen. Now, this particular setup, by the way, I think in that particular year made me just under $1 million. And that, my dear friends, was approximately $400 to $600 worth of equipment. You do not need to spend heaps of money, nor do you need to hire professional filmographers and have fancy studios in order to create an extremely amazing learning experience. Because again, remember, people want the answers to their questions, not the Hollywood production. Very different 5+ years ago. 5+ years ago, people really expected the professional production. Today, people are more than happy to come on and get a recording that gets straight to the point, answers their questions, and delivers the thing fast. So that is sufficient. Here's what you need, really good lighting. Now I have in front of me 2 selfie ring lights. I got these from Kmart, Walmart, right? You can get these from your everyday supermarket or big department store for less than $50. That is what I use to this day. Big selfie ring lights. I have 2 of them in front of my desk, so at night time when I'm recording, it's nice and bright, and you have that eye-to-eye contact. Make sure when you are filming, you are, and dare I word it this way, excuse me, is another way of doing it, basically from the boobies up, you kind of want to have that part of you in screen, because people need to be able to see into your eyes. Think of the basics of human behavior and human communication, right? The majority of our communication comes from that eye contact and the body language that's being used at a facial level. So you want to be boobies up into the screen when you are doing your videos. The next thing you need, videos, is obviously a really good camera. Now in today's world, there's heaps of them out there that are really good. Here's the criteria you need for a good camera. Regardless of the brand, you want ideally a camera or a webcam. I use a webcam that has a 4K resolution, or at the very minimum, what's called 1080p. If you find something that says 1080p or even better 4K, tick, it's good. The other criteria you want to check for when you're looking at those complicated descriptions that nobody understands is what's called FPS, frames per second. Ideally, you want your webcam to have 30 frames per second or above. So I personally have a 4K resolution. That means Ultra HD. And I have on mine an Uber level of 60 frames per second. That's the highest you can get. What that basically means is if I move really fast, it's not going to blur. So all that frames per second is how quickly it captures movement. If you have those 2 things, ding, you're A-OK for a high quality webcam to produce extremely high quality big screen content. Alrighty. You also need a good microphone. Okay, this is very important. You can get away today filming courses on Zoom and as low quality as that. However, if you sound like you're presenting from the bottom of a tin of baked beans, it's going to be a very unpleasant experience for your viewers. So you can get some epic microphones today for very low price. Anything by Yeti, Rode, or Sony, ding, absolutely awesome. I recommend getting 2. Now, if you are planning on doing lots of filming and especially podcasting, I always make a habit of having my camera recording on my phone next to my webcam. And my webcam's recording with my microphone plugged into my computer. So we have a desktop recording. And then I have my mobile phone sat in the holder of the ring light that has a lapel wireless microphone connected so that the phone has good sound, the webcam has good sound. Why? 2 reasons. Glad you asked. Number 1, we have the landscape version here that can be used to go into the course portal, because landscape is going to be the better format for delivering course content. Secondly, we have a backup, right? Shit goes wrong sometimes. You might finish that amazing presentation and for some reason it didn't save, the internet cut out, whatever happened, it didn't save, and you've lost half an hour to an hour's worth of work. No. If you have your mobile phone, right, it's not going to hurt to use that backup instead. The other reason I use my mobile phone is because I can take the portrait version of that delivery, I can chop it all up and use snippets as social media content that then goes back and promotes the very workshop I was just delivering. Whoop! In my Legends Lab section 5, I talk about all about how to repurpose content in that way for your marketing. Now, the other thing you're going to want is to edit your videos or do professional video production that isn't a Zoom recording. I highly recommend a platform called Descript today. If anyone wants to type this in the chat, I do have an affiliate link. It's sarahcordiner.com/Descript. If anyone wants to write that in the chat for me, that'd be great. But basically, Descript is a video recording platform, a video editing platform. It's a podcast recording and podcast editing platform. And some of the stuff this thing can do, guys, is absolutely insane. Basically, the second you film in it or upload any video to it, so all of my Zooms I record, I download them and I pop them back up into Descript. It transcribes the video, and then by editing the text, you edit the video. So literally, if I said bananas and I didn't want the word bananas in there, I delete the word bananas in the text and it cuts that bit of the video out. Oh my gosh. Now, the other cool thing it does is it removes filler words in a second. So if I've said or so, or you literally press the button that says remove filler words. Gone. It's literally edited every single filler word out of the video in one step. The other cool thing it does, among many others, it adds all the beautiful captions to your video so that you have more accessibility from people being able to read, not to mention being able to download the transcript to add to your courses area for more accessibility. But it has this AI feature that you can type in and say, give me 25 snippets that I can use for social media. Bing, done. It's so good, and it's cheap as. There's so many more. I teach people how to use Descript at an advanced level in the Legends Lab for those of you who do want to come and check it out. Step number 9, we're getting closer to finishing up our session today, is what platform do you use to host your content? Now, there's 4 main platforms out there, and of course I'm biased, I'm the founder of Techmatics, but let me tell you about the different types of platforms before you even think about going in and doing free trials and checking out different tools. The first type of platform is what's called an online course marketplace. A marketplace is basically a supermarket, but for courses. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Udemy. Anyone heard of Udemy here? That's an example of an online course marketplace. Anyone can go to that platform, upload courses, and boom, they start selling to the public. But here's the pros and cons with a marketplace. Please do not ever put your high ticket products on that platform because you do not own the students. Udemy owns the students. You are very limited in how you can communicate, how you can sell or upsell to those students because they're not yours. You don't get their contact details. Also, you do not choose the pricing. So Udemy can and will sell your courses for as little as $5. You will likely in your royalties only receive a couple of dollars worth of commission for the sale of that course. So please don't put your big courses or your paid products on there. Use Udemy instead as a form of marketing at that lower end of your whole commercialization model because Udemy has 40 million students, 40 million course shoppers. So you have a great opportunity to get discovered on there, and what you are allowed to do is in your instructor bio, put your website URL and your social media link. So if you deliver something that's cheap or free, really low price, but amazing, trust me, those people are going to come and look for you elsewhere and the other things you have to offer off of the platform. I've got something like 60,000 students on that platform without ever marketing it. Just put it up there and let the shoppers find it. Amazing. I have 280,000 people overall who've joined my courses, and I've used Udemy as a way to get discovered, like all of my other public content marketing wise that goes out there. I give on that platform my free stuff, my cheap stuff, my stuff that I don't mind getting paid to promote is the way that we look at that platform. The next type of platform is called a learning management system. This is a platform that is purely and exclusively for selling learning content. You may have heard of platforms like Thinkific, LearnWorlds, Podia. All these platforms are specifically LMSs, learning management systems that have the portal to host all of your content, and they really focus just on that course hosting side. Great because you can usually brand them with your branding, you can put your own domain attached to it, and they are your customers. So you do get to communicate and sell and set the pricing however you want because you essentially white label that platform as your own. They're all really good at what they do. Fantastic option to go and have a look at. However, the problem with a learning management system is they do lack all of the other tech stack stuff that you need to run a business effectively. So what I recommend in today's world is an all-in-one platform. An all-in-one platform will literally have all of the tech you need. And in this particular example, I will share with you that Techmatics is in that category. This includes your websites, your funnels, your opt-ins, your customer record management system. It has your whole portal to host unlimited courses, unlimited memberships for unlimited pricing options with unlimited contacts. It's your email marketing system. It's your appointment booking system so people can pay to book calls with you. It does automations. It has an AI bot to answer all of your incoming inquiries and 1,000 things more that I won't go into in today's call. You can obviously check that out yourselves at another time. And then the final 10th stage of this big major process of creating a course is where the real work begins. Bum, just when you think you finished the job, now we actually do have to put the rubber to the road and do some work, because this thing, as I said, will not sell itself. Nothing does in today's world. You must be marketing it. The money you make and the success you have is directly proportionate to the amount of marketing that you do. So you will want to plan out some kind of launch for your program, and please don't think that there's only such thing as one launch, right? People always say to me, what if it goes wrong? I'm not ready yet. Launching is simply just telling people for the first time that your thing's available. That's it. Please don't put too much pressure on yourself here, because if you want your course to sell, you've got to tell people that you have that thing and that it's open for them every single day for the rest of your life. I don't want to scare you, but that's how it works. So many people are like, but if the launch goes wrong, oh dear, you're going to be talking about it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Now, I do have a course launch strategy for you to follow, which obviously is available in my paid programs. This is where you also might want to have a beta group, get some paying customers to come into your beta program. Please don't give your beta program away for free. The people who love you the most, your most raving fans, are going to be the first people to jump in and buy something that you have available. So what I recommend you do is make sure you're getting paid for your expertise, but you might give them a discount. You might say, hey guys, this is actually a beta program. For my first 5 to 10 founding members, I'm going to let you guys jump in at this price for this period of time. If you jump in this period of time only, in return I want some feedback for your discount, but you are real customers, you're having a real customer experience, and I am not devaluing my expertise in order to, give you this opportunity of my discounted program. Then, of course, you've got email marketing and all of the other marketing that comes back to this visibility blueprint. So they are the major stages that you would need to go through in order to put an incredible, life-changing program together. I've got some information about my Legends Lab and, of course, my done-for-you course creation services. If any of you do want my remote done-for-you package, where I can help you map out your program, your IP framework, set up all of your tech, or if you want to come to my house and do the VIP day with me and top it off with a nice glass of bubbles, we also have that option too. But for now, I will hand you back to Nick and see if there are any questions. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That was amazing. It was just so packed with so much information. We loved it. There's been lots of communication in the chat box, and everybody's looking forward to getting the recording, and those who had left earlier can listen to the end. What I loved about this is that we could all end this call and already start getting cracking on something.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea of just start now, because I think that that's so important. So many of us are perfectionists, and we think that when it's all ready, we will do it. And then we wait another year and then we're still not ready. So I love that about what you said. Thanks so much for all your links and everything, and that we're going to get your slides. I want to quickly mention one question we had. I know we've got about 15 minutes. Lewis asked earlier, how can we start a membership at a low price and put it up later?
Absolutely love this one. So this again is where I'd highly recommend everybody starts with simply setting those monthly Q&A calls with you. One thing I suggest you do is, first of all, if I was to sit down with you, I'd say, right, let's imagine I'm going to stay with you for 12 months. If you were going to give me a theme of the month for 12 months to help me get from zero to hero in your thing, what theme would you kind of cover roughly for each month? That's going to give you a rough idea of kind of what to talk about, but also open up that Q&A call for anyone to ask anything about any stage of what you do. So this is how I'd normally begin, is I'd say, look, on this particular day, we're going to be covering everything about this topic, as a discussion. However, please bring your questions with me. You can start that off, usually I would say at about half the price of what you would charge for a 1-hour call with you. So again, what we're trying to do here is incentivize people repeat buying in a membership rather than just these one-off calls that are very interspersed and sporadic. I definitely would recommend that you make your membership half the price or thereabouts of a 1-hour call, so that instantaneously there's already an incentive for me to join it, because I get that time with you monthly. Then, of course, as that portal grows, because every time you deliver another workshop, every time you put another training on, create a new resource, and it goes in that bucket, you can each year increase the price. But my biggest recommendation here is honor the price of existing members. So my pricing has slowly gone up over the years. It started at $47. My Legends Lab is now 197 Australian, which is obviously ridiculously, insanely valuable for everything you get in there. But this is where I always say, when it does increase in price, that everyone that's already paying a certain price is grandfathered into whatever the new version is, and it's only new people that join from that point that get the higher pricing. So that's a quick answer to that question. Any more?
Okay, great. Okay, so we've got 3 more questions. Jason, Michael, and then one in the chat for Shelley. So Jason, do you want to unmute yourself and just keep it simple?
Very simple. Thank you very much, Nikki. Sarah, thank you very much. It's been extremely informative, and I'm looking forward to going through the recording again. Just one quick question about the membership. What is the average amount of time that a person stays within the membership, and at what point do you start, in inverted commas, running out of material that you're just going into repeat mode?
Yeah, good question. So I do have a short workshop called Make Your Membership that goes into retention strategies in detail. But this is where your success journey, aka your IP framework, really comes into play. Because if I can see that step-by-step model and I know what's coming up and I'm going to go down this particular pathway, already my retention rate's higher, because I don't want to leave when there's all this other stuff that's going to come along. You're also then creating FOMO with the marketing that you're putting out every single month. Next month, we're going to be covering this. At the end of every workshop, I'm saying, make sure you stick around for next month because we're going to be covering this. So you're constantly telling people what's still to come in that membership. Now, you don't have to create new content every single month, but you might be going through new activities, new themes, or giving them new things to focus on as each month passes. But that having that framework and that annual plan is the most important one, and really outlining that that success journey on your sales page is the most critical. Following that up with a email sequence that you write once and then leave running forever, that will constantly keep checking in with your students saying, hey, first name, how are you going? By now you should be on this section, or it's July, this month we're covering this. Please make sure you've gone into this section of your portal and covered this, and this workshop or activity. Those are really powerful. But in terms of what's the average, it really comes down to how many of the retention methods you are using in your particular membership. And obviously everyone's are going to be slightly different depending on what you're teaching and the format of your membership. But having ideally a minimum of 12 months is your goal. Your Stripe account will then tell you what your actual retention rate is. So it's called customer lifetime value, and you also have churn rate on your Stripe dashboard. My members on average stay around 3 years before they go and buy another service or opt into something different. Your goal should be to keep an eye on your churn rate, and your goal is to reduce your churn rate, which is people leaving, and increase your lifetime stay. And there's a number of strategies in my Make Your Membership program that will take you through exactly what to do to bring the churn down and the retention up.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jason. That was a great question. Thanks for that answer, Sarah. Okay, Michael, on to you, and then we'll get to Shelley's questions.
Yeah, thank you. I think I'm going to save Shelley one of her questions because I'm asking, I think, the same one. How many of you are there exactly? It feels like you have 12 people that are doing what you're doing, because it's like a lot you're training.
As in, how many run my business behind the scenes? How many staff do I have?
Essentially, I mean, It feels like there's like 10 of you.
I know, right? So my business still to this day, I have 280,000 enrollments in 181 countries. And to this very day, that operation consists of myself and one virtual assistant. She started with me in just coming up, it'll be 10 years in September. She started off 2 hours a week posting social media content on my behalf. And that role slowly increased, and she's been full-time with me ever since. I obviously do have contractors that I will hire as and when needed. So if I've done like a massive bulk load of filming, or I've run one of my course creation boot camps that's been filmed, I will then have contractors that I'll hire for a month to then help me edit that content en masse, for instance. So aside from the contractors that I bring in as needed, it's myself and one other full-time person. And the reason why we can do it so lean like that is because we so heavily use technology. If if you've got those sales pages set up with the checkout on them, really clear guidelines as to what they're going to get, that's then followed up with an automatic email automation that says, hi, first name, welcome to the course, here's how you log in, here's how you change your password, here's how you cancel your membership. And then you've got a check-in sequence that just checks in, wait for 1 week, now send this email, wait for 1 week. You build that once, and that actually becomes your administration management system behind the scenes. So if you've got those basics in place, which by the way, anyone who joins my programs, you get all of that pre-made for you, and it's plug and play. This is exactly what takes away all of the everyday administration. The other final and most juiciest sprinkle to that, which is now available to everyone today, is having AI assistant bots. And my AI assistant bot literally has taken so much administration off both of our plates, because all it does, the one inside Techmatics, it scans your website, you just put your URL in, and it will literally know everything about you, your opening times, your products, your services. You can even put in frequently asked questions, and anyone who messages you on Instagram or Facebook or through SMS or through your Google business page, it will reply for you and point them to booking appointments with you and buying your products and services. So using tech is what will allow you to go global, and some simple strategies behind the scenes without you having to do any more work.
Okay, great. Thanks, Michael, for that. That's a very good question and very impressive. There's just one person behind the scenes.
Obviously, with
So
Techmatics, it's a lot bigger. We've got over 60 staff in Techmatics, but that's a whole other company.
Absolutely. Okay, so Shelley has 3 questions, and as Michael said, he asked one of hers.
Yeah.
So the first question is, when you started, were your sales purely B2C?
No, actually, when I started, I was delivering curriculum design and professional development training in corporates. So moving from corporate to public is a very different game. You should see them as completely different sort of sides of your businesses, different arms on the tree, because they require very different marketing strategies and very different ways of presenting your different trainings and programs. I do, in the Legends Lab, have a program called How to Pitch and Sell Your Training and Courses to Corporates and B2B, and includes training proposal template for you to use. But with your B2C market, it's a lot more work, but obviously you have the opportunity to impact a lot more people. In your B2B work, obviously you're getting a lot more money for each individual interaction you have, but it's actually very easy for you to duplicate the topic that you teach and sell that same topic and the majority of the content in exactly the same way to both of those markets without actually having to duplicate the workload necessarily. So I do help people, whether it's for a consulting call or for my training, to actually make those 2 distinctions, because that is, again, another way to multiply your income and your impact by not doing too much more work.
Yeah. Nikki, sorry, can I change the questions based on it? So I think it'll be more value.
Yeah.
For my voice, for a bit of a croaky voice. Sarah, in the beginning, when you started and you were transitioning and building it, what was the ratio of time you spent creating marketing content for longer term gain versus the immediate deliverables in the business while you were in that transition space?
Well, this is still my ratio today, and it has been for the last 15 years, is roughly speaking, you should be spending around 25% of your time creating content and doing the work, and around 75% of your time marketing it. And that sounds a little bit crazy. It's kind of the 80-20 principle, right? You want to be doing 80% letting people know about it, 20% creating. Mine's more like 75-25 type margin, but that is always and has always been a very reliable ratio to work on. And in fact, I organize my calendar, I color code my calendar in that format to ensure it happens. I have yellow for doing admin stuff, and I literally have recurring appointments booked into my calendar for making social media content. And so no one can ever book that spot. Wednesday afternoons are blocked every single week as a recurring appointment for making videos. I have Thursday afternoons blocked every single week for creating more content for my membership. Those are non-negotiable, fixed appointments with self in the calendar that I stick to at all times. And you work out that's roughly kind of 70% of my time. And then I have the slots where I will take calls or do workshops and other more out there stuff. But the biggest move for me in kind of going public, I had no email list, I had no Facebook page, business pages, nothing out there in the public space. I had a name in corporate, but absolutely not at all in the public world, and certainly none that could directly be transferred over. So for me, going public was about getting in front of as many people as I possibly could, as quickly as I could. And for me, that meant going to speak at conferences, going around expos, collecting every business card, meeting every single person, coming on online summits and presenting to people online where you get potentially thousands of people either on the call or in the recordings afterwards, so that I could present myself as much as possible to the biggest audiences possible. And then every single day, popping something online that I'm passionate about that will relate to my audience in some capacity. And if you look at my Facebook page today or any of my social media channels, just type my name into Google, you'll see what I mean. Like sometimes I will deliver a tip where I'm literally answering a question that I know my audience ask. I use Answer the Public, I use the methods I teach. Other times I'll just put up a little image post, just sharing a little piece of advice that my audience might relate to, and answering questions, commenting on the replies. You've just got to talk, you have to have the courage to talk to an empty room for a while. And when I say a while, I mean at least 18 months before you start to get a lot of that engagement back, right? This isn't instant, it's a really slow process, but my goodness, is it valuable. And me today is so grateful for me 10 years ago, who just went with the awkwardness and started. Your first stuff's going to suck. You're going to get it wrong at first. Some of your stuff might be really salesy and icky. I look back at some of my previous work and I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I just write how I speak? It would have been so much more pleasant to read. Right? But you can only get better at it by doing it. And future you in 5 years' time is going to be so grateful that you started popping stuff out there today. So start yesterday.
That is such good advice, and I see Marie saying that's so valuable to remember that it does take time, but it only happens when we start.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is so true. So hopefully everybody on this call is going to get started straight away.
Yeah.
There might be time for one more question if
Sure.
anybody has one. Everybody really loved the session and it was so valuable. Mariette has got her hand up. Do you want to talk, Mariette?
I just want to ask, where did you find your personal assistant? Because I was looking at some options and I can't figure out where to employ my virtual assistant.
Awesome question. So as predicted in the Legends Lab, section 3 is all about organising and finding staff, but Upwork is a great place, and I find a lot of my contractors on Upwork, and it's all about, first of all, creating a really good job description and being very clear about who and what you're looking for. The other great thing about Upwork is you get to set your budget and how long you want someone for. You do not have to hire people full time. My VA started on 2 hours a week at X dollars an hour, and that job advert then allows people who are willing to do those tasks for the rate that you've got, the budget that you've got, will apply for that particular role. Now, here's my biggest trick. This is so important. Pick your top 3 people and give them each a $20 job. It's really important that you pay them. Give them a task with really clear set instructions and pay them all $20 to do something for you, and see who does the best job. Actually trying people out is the best way for you to see what they're made of. So many of them, and this happens all the time to me to this day, some of them will get offered the job, you pay the deposit in escrow, and they just ghost. They're gone. Luckily, you don't lose your money on Upwork, because if they don't deliver the work, your money goes back in your account, because Upwork acts as the intermediary between the two, making it safe for them and for you in the process. And then you get someone who does an absolutely ninja job, took loads of initiative, and then you have someone somewhere in the middle. And sometimes I've taken on both of them for a month just to see kind of how they compete with one another and who does the best kind of work. So trialing them out is a really clever strategy as well.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thanks, Sarah. That's a good link. I'm going to share it in the chat box.
Yeah.
Joni's asking, are there any geographies in the world that are buying more online courses?
It more comes down to your the way that you present yourself, to be honest, more than anything. I went out there based in Australia to target the Australian market, and could be completely by chance. I have about 80% of my students in the US, which was never planned. There was no intention behind that. I think it's just because there is a bigger volume of people there, and the US market is very open to self-study, personal development and learning. And the other accents to the US is always a very big enticement as well. So I find that works quite well. But honestly, you guys have to remember, the second you press publish, the second you press that button, you have a global business. you are instantaneously opened up to the whole entire world, and this is the magic of it. And if you're using payment gateways like Stripe or PayPal, this makes all of your reporting and tax really, really easy, because as easy as it can be, right? We know they don't make it easy, old taxmen, but you basically, all I do in my business is download the Stripe report, give that to my accountant, and they obviously work out what Australian income I need to pay tax on, and so forth, right? I won't go into all that kind of business today, but you have a global company. The best thing for you to work out who your audience is to literally start teaching what you do. And then in Techmatics, you have a source report. It shows you who your customers are, how they're finding you, and where they're from. And so does Google Analytics. So regardless of what platform you're using, Google Analytics is a free platform that you plug into whatever platform or website you're using, and it will tell you how old they are, where they live, what countries they're in, what device they're accessing your programs and courses from, what of your blogs or web pages they're actually coming to you from, and then you continuously iterate from that point onwards.
Okay, fantastic. And then we bang on 10 o'clock. I know much later for you, Sarah. Thank you so much. Really, we so appreciate it. Everybody loved the session. And to let everybody know, I'm going to upload this video to YouTube, and then I'll actually share it in our professional speakers Facebook group, along with your slides, and then anybody can contact me if they need the link as well.
Yeah.
But thank you, Sarah. This was amazing, and I'm sure many of us will be in touch with you. I think we all need to get to Australia and have that champagne in your hot tub. That sounds like
Or I just come over there and do a mass session, mass boot camp day for all of you. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good idea, Sarah.
That sounds.
You need a trip to South Africa. That's an excellent idea.
I think it might be worth us organising. We got loads of confetti. I love it. So guys, the link will be sent via Nick with the copy of today's slides on there. Please feel free to reach out to me if you want to send me an email. My email will be on the slides as well. If you've got any follow-up questions, you can book a call or check out anything else that's on there. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's my honour to do my passion with you guys. I can't wait to see your workshops, presentations and speeches soon. But lovely to meet you all. Go create and change the world. Good luck.
Sarah, you gold dust. Gold dust today. Gold dust. Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Have a great evening, everyone. We'll have a good Monday, and you have a great evening, Sarah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. See ya. I hope you guys found that useful. And I've got to figure out how to turn the live off. I haven't got a clue. Let's see. Sure. Bye.